Hello everyone, welcome to my book tip channel. Today I'm really excited to talk about one of the most anticipated books of this year for me, and that book is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Now this book was on my shelf for so many years. I was given this book as a birthday gift, I think way back in 2019, and I always wanted to read this book, but I was scared. I was scared because this book is quite long. It's around 600 pages or more than 600 pages, and I was scared because it's dark academia, and I have never read dark academia in my life. This is my first one. Well, if you consider Piranesi as dark academia, then maybe I have read one, but this book is the epitome of dark academia, and I was quite nervous to get started with this book. But I must tell you that the experience has been really good, and I'm so excited to talk about this book. But before I start with my review or my thoughts on this book, which is going to be more like a ramble because my mind is buzzing with a lot of thoughts, I would like to tell you that I'm going to divide this video into two parts. The first part is going to be non-spoiler, and the second part is going to have some spoiler, and that's because I really want to discuss the ending with you guys, and I know many of you have read this book. So if you have not read this book, or if you don't want to get into spoilers, then I would request you to not to watch the second part of this video. But don't worry, I'm going to give you fair warning before I switch to the spoiler part of this video. Now this is the non-spoiler part of this video, so feel free to watch it, feel free to like, share and subscribe my video. Okay, subscribe to my channel. Now coming back to The Secret History. Well, what do I say about this book? Reading this book was an experience because it's a literary fiction, so the language was no doubt beautiful. The descriptions were too good. It was a slow burn, like really slow. You know, sometimes you got irritated, but at the same time, the power of writing was such that it pulled you in. Now, what is the story about? If I read from the back flap of this book or the blurb, it says that under the influence of their charismatic classics professor, a group of clever, eccentric misfits at an elite New England college discover a way of thinking and living that is a world away from the humdrum existence of their contemporaries. But when they go beyond the boundaries of normal morality, their lives are changed profoundly and forever. The blurb doesn't say much, does it? So let me tell you in brief what this story is about. So we are told, the story is told from one of the characters' point of view throughout. It's a narration. The name of that character is Richard. Richard is now 28 years old, and he narrates the story from his college days, what happened. So there's a prologue, and in the prologue we get to know that a murder or a death has taken place, and we have to now know who that person is, what happened, what were the circumstances that led to this death, and that is this book about. So this book is about this group of students who are quite eccentric in their own way. They are quite different. They study classics, they study Greek literature, and they have this professor who is quite eccentric in his own ways. He does not take more than 5 students, and it's a very small group. It's like their own world, and he is very serious about what he teaches, and there are a lot of experimentation that happens within this group. Richard is someone from he's from California, and he comes to New England to this really good college based on a scholarship, and he wants to study English literature, but he's also interested in Greek, and he wants to get himself enrolled in this Greek professor's classes. But he's been told that he does not take more than 5 students, and there are already 5 students who are quite known in the college because they are so aloof. They just talk to each other, and they are there in their own bubble as such. But Richard is quite determined that he wants to be part of this eccentric group because he's also eccentric in many ways. So Richard then finally gets into this group, and he becomes friends with these people, and as I said, they're unique in their own ways. And then he gets involved in a lot of things that you will see later on, including a murder. So this book is actually about how to get away with a murder, if I may say, but it's more than that. It's about the psychological profile of the students, how different they are from each other, and how their friendship evolves. There are dark secrets, and it just keeps you on your toes. It's a slow burn. It's like water which is being boiled on a stove, but the water is on a slow flame, and it takes its own sweet time to simmer. and that's how the story is. It's atmospheric because you want to know, oh my god, what is happening next, what will be the next plot point, and you have to really stop yourself from turning the pages and seeing what is going to happen in the next chapter, because you're that desperate, but at the point where you're reading, nothing much is happening. So you have to have a lot of patience to get through this book, because otherwise I don't know how you will, it's not easy to get through this book if you want something to happen quickly, because the author takes her own sweet time to make sure that the next plot twist is revealed to you. The writing is atmospheric, as I said before. It's interesting. I like the character profiles, how they have been portrayed, but at the same time I dislike all the characters. So if you like books where you don't really like the characters, then this is the one for you, because all these characters are very unlikable. Richard, that's our narrator, is kind of unreliable because we know that he lies a lot. So you don't know whether he's lying to you as a reader or no, because in his life you see he keeps lying to his professors, he keeps lying to his friends to get his way out of certain things. So there are times when you feel that, you know, these characters are really unlikable. They have real weird notions, they live in their own world, as I had mentioned before. And then there are certain scenes where I felt that the author has really dragged it on, like she could have just edited a few pages and come to the point. So I remember making a note somewhere here. Let me just get to you. These are my annotations, by the way, for this book. There are a lot of them. This paragraph, this is the one where I have actually written, how long is the author going to stretch something. Now it's getting really tedious to read. So yeah, these were some of my thoughts while reading this book. But I said it is an experience, and if you like reading something which is atmospheric, which is slow burn, and a classic, I think it's a contemporary classic by now, then you should definitely give this book a try. But be very patient. That's my only suggestion if you want to get started with this book. And now let's come to the spoiler part of it. What was the ending of this book? Come on guys, I felt the ending was so underwhelming. I mean, everyone gets away with the murder. I know Henry, I really disliked him because he was kind of a perpetrator of all of this. He's the one who came up with that eccentric idea of trying something out of this world to experience something paranormal, and then they end up killing that farmer. Nothing much is told about what happens to that murder case, so that's left hanging in the air. Then you have our Henry killing himself. Well, that's like an easy way out, right, to get out of all the trouble that he has put others into. When others are also not blameless, I get that, but still, what was that ending where everyone gets back to their lives as normal? What happens to Bunny's murder? There's no redemption, there's nothing. And I don't know guys, I felt that ending was underwhelming. I wanted that somehow these people who have acted so smart in covering up that murder, that something should happen, right? Somehow they should be held accountable for their actions, but there is absolutely nothing. They all go back to their normal lives. And then the author has created that mystery that, okay, now Charles is losing his mind after whatever the murder of Bernie happened, the funeral happened, and Charles is really losing his mind. So we were kind of made to believe that maybe the next person to die would be Charles, because Henry might not consider Charles as a risk, but that does not happen. Then we have Henry's strange behavior towards Richard, or towards Camilla and Henry, what's happening to them, we don't know. I mean, I felt that a lot of threads were hung loose, and this book requires a sequel. That's what I felt, because the ending was really underwhelming for me. I mean, I know this book is slow burn and people do talk about its epilogue, its ending, but for me, I felt that there is a lot of scope for a sequel. I know the book is written in 1990s, if I'm not wrong, and there is no chance. I don't think the author is going to come up with a sequel anytime soon. But don't you think that this book kind of maybe requires a sequel to kind of tie those loose ends? And I felt that there were a lot of loose ends, and the ending was underwhelming. These are my thoughts on the book, and I really felt that the ending was underwhelming, and that's about it. I'm it's raining outside, and if you can hear it, it's raining very heavily. So I'm going to stop this video now. Thank you so much for watching, and please do comment about your thoughts on the ending, as well as try not to give spoilers out in the comments, because I'm sure there are people who have not read it. But at the same time, do let me know your thoughts, whether you think this book requires a sequel. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I'll see you back again in my next video.